The A-Team's 1983 GMC Vandura isn't just a van, it's a television legend that has captured the imaginations of audiences for decades. Behind its sleek black and red exterior lies a story far stranger and more complex than most fans realize. From Hollywood secrets to fan obsession, this vehicle's history is filled with unexpected twists, daring stunts, and surprising behind-the-scenes choices. Some of its quirks challenge conventional logic, while others reveal just how inventive television production could be in the 1980s. What seems like a simple action van is actually a symbol of ingenuity, chaos, and cultural influence, making its story unforgettable. The Ford Stunt Double. When the action really intensified, the A-Team production faced a serious dilemma. The iconic GMC Vandura wasn't built to survive weekly high-impact stunts, and wrecking one on a regular basis would have been far too costly. This created a massive problem for a show that made its name on vehicular chaos. To solve this, the crew turned to a clever workaround, giving the van a secret double life. In some of the most destructive chase sequences, a black Ford Econoline with red hubcaps took the Vandura's place. Their solution was to use a stunt double for the most dangerous scenes. But this wasn't just another GMC. For the really big frame-destroying stunts, we're talking massive jumps and explosions, the crew secretly substituted the van with a Ford Econoline. That's right, a Ford, a direct rival. To pull off this cinematic con job, they painted the Econoline black, and in a brilliant bit of misdirection, they fitted it with those unmistakable red turbine hubcaps. This was the key. The producers knew that in the middle of a fast-paced jump or a fiery explosion, the audience's eye would be drawn to those iconic red wheels, not the slightly different body shape of the Ford. This substitution allowed the show to deliver its signature mayhem without breaking the bank. It's a classic example of television magic, where a rival brand had to be brought in to play the martyr, taking all the abuse so the real GMC star could drive away safely at the end of the episode. The movie van's true identity. When the A-Team hit the big screen in 2010, fans expected to see a perfect, detailed recreation of the original 1983 GMC Vandura. That van is one of the most recognized vehicles in pop culture, so getting it right was a huge priority for fans. However, the production team ran into the practical realities of modern filmmaking. Finding multiple, reliable, and stunt-ready 1983 models nearly 3 decades after the show aired was an incredibly difficult and expensive challenge. Their solution was to use a different van entirely. The vehicle you see in the movie is not a GMC Vandura. It's actually a 1994 Chevrolet G20. While the G20 is part of the same General Motors family, it's a different brand and, more importantly, a model from over a decade later. This newer platform was easier to source, likely more reliable, and better suited for the intense demands of blockbuster movie stunts. The crew then heavily customized the Chevy G20S to externally match the iconic TV van, complete with the spoilers, red stripe, and overall look. Most viewers would never notice the substitution. This switch is a prime example of how logistical and financial needs in Hollywood often override the desire for perfect historical accuracy, even when dealing with such a beloved piece of automotive history. It means the van, driven by Liam Neeson and his team, was technically a different machine altogether. The A-Team's van fleet. It's a great image to think of Bosco Albert Baracus lovingly maintaining one single invincible van for all 5 seasons. But given the sheer amount of punishment the vehicle took every week, smashing through obstacles, landing massive jumps, and surviving crashes, that idea is pure fantasy. The reality of 1980s action television was far more destructive. To keep the show on its demanding production schedule, the crew didn't have one van, they had a whole fleet of them. This wasn't just a case of having a few identical backups. These vans were specialized for different roles. Some were designated as stunt vans, heavily modified with reinforced frames and suspension built to handle one specific massive jump or crash. These vehicles were considered disposable and often written off after a single take. Other vans were hero vehicles, used for close-ups with the actors and quieter driving scenes. Because several vans were being rotated constantly, eagle-eyed viewers sometimes spotted small inconsistencies. For example, some vans used for filming had sunroofs, while others had slightly different tinted windows. This fleet approach was a logistical necessity. The A-Team van wasn't a single entity, but rather a character played by an entire stable of hard-working and often sacrificed vehicles. Nobody drives my van. One of the most defining rules of the A-Team wasn't about a mission, it was about the van. The GMC Vandura was not a shared team asset or a communal vehicle. It belonged, body and soul, to B.A. Baracus, and he was fiercely protective of it. This van was his territory, his workshop, and an extension of his own personality. He viewed anyone else taking the wheel as a massive personal insult. This territoriality became a recurring and beloved plot point. B.A. often flat-out refused to let other members of the team drive, leading to constant humorous conflicts, especially with Face or Murdoch. This strict rule held firm even in high-pressure situations, where it might have made sense for someone else to take over. This possessiveness perfectly symbolized Ibo.A, quote, S role as the team's muscle and chief mechanic. He was the one responsible for its performance and integrity. The greatest irony, of course, is that despite his obsessive protection, the van was subjected to incredible abuse every week. It was constantly being riddled with bullets, crashed, or sent flying through the air. This only fueled B.A, quote, S anger, as he'd have to magically repair his cherished and heavily damaged vehicle by the next episode. His famous line was clear: nobody drives his van, the mobile mission hub. While the van's aggressive exterior is what everyone remembers, its true value to the A-Team was inside. The interior wasn't just for transporting the team, it was a fully operational, mobile command center. This van was their office, their workshop, and their entire support system on wheels, allowing 4 fugitives to operate complex missions anywhere. Most fans recall that the back was a mobile armory, famously used to store their guns and ammunition, but it was also equipped for high-tech espionage. The van housed a sophisticated audio surveillance recording device, allowing them to gather crucial intelligence on their targets. This transformed it from a simple transport vehicle into a low-profile spy machine. Even more surprising was the inclusion of a mini printing press. This vital piece of equipment meant the team could forge documents, create new identities, or print official-looking credentials on the fly. For a team constantly on the run and needing to infiltrate secure locations, this ability was indispensable. The Vandura was the ultimate multi-tool, equipped for both heavy combat and detailed covert operations, making it the essential backbone of every single mission. The Vandura's engine code. Beneath the hood of the A-Team's 1983 GMC Vandura lies a powerhouse that defined its performance and reliability. The van was propelled by a Chevrolet small block 350 V8 LS9, a classic 5.7-liter engine renowned for its durability and widespread use across General Motors trucks and utility vehicles. The LS9 designation identifies it as a member of the small block family, a cornerstone of American automotive engineering, built to withstand heavy loads and continuous use. This robust engine provided the perfect balance of power and dependability for a vehicle subjected to constant high-speed chases and demanding stunts. The engine's widespread availability and proven construction allowed the production team to maintain multiple vans without excessive downtime. Components were easy to source, repairs were straightforward, and performance remained consistent, even after repeated wear and tear. The Rochester 4-barrel carburetor further reinforced its classic 1980s configuration, delivering reliable fuel delivery and throttle response. Knowing the factory engine code connects the Vandura directly to a lineage of versatile GM vehicles, emphasizing that its capabilities weren't just cosmetic. The LS9 was a workhorse engine, built to endure stress, haul weight, and deliver dependable power for every mission. For enthusiasts and automotive historians, this code offers a precise mechanical fingerprint, confirming that the A-Team's iconic van wasn't merely a prop, but a true machine engineered for performance, durability, and the relentless demands of weekly television action. The mismatched tire setup. The iconic red turbine wheels are one of the van's most memorable features, but the tires mounted on them hide a very specific and unusual customization. If you look at a standard 1983 GMC Vandura, it would have the same size tire on all 4 corners. This is the practical setup for any utility vehicle, as it ensures stable handling and allows for easy tire rotation. The A-Team van, however, was not built to be practical. It was built to be theatrical, and it broke this rule. It used what is known as a staggered tire configuration. This means the rear tires were significantly wider than the front. The van was fitted with 235 65ths R15 tires on the front axle, while the rear axle received much meatier 275/65 R15S. This is a modification taken straight from the 1970s custom van and muscle car playbook, and it's completely counterintuitive for a heavy-duty van. This choice served two key purposes. Visually, the wider rear tires gave the van a much more aggressive and powerful stance, making it look planted and mean. Functionally, that extra rubber in the back provided better grip for acceleration and handling during the show's relentless stunt driving and high-speed chases. It's a small, technical detail that reveals the depth of the customization and transforming the van from a common workhorse into a true performance icon. The van's secret color. If you stop anyone on the street and ask them the color of the A-Team van, they will almost certainly say it's black with a red stripe. That's the image burned into pop culture. But that common belief is actually incorrect, missing a crucial, subtle detail. The van wasn't a solid black vehicle. It actually featured a more complex, multi-layered paint scheme that was deliberately designed to look dynamic on camera. Here's the truth. The van was a two-tone. Everything below the iconic red stripe was indeed a solid, plain black. However, the entire upper portion of the van, from the stripe all the way up over the roof, was painted a dark metallic gray. This wasn't an accident or a random choice. It was a key part of the van's custom look. Under bright studio lights or in the sunlight of a chase scene, that metallic gray finish would catch the light and give the van a distinctive sheen and visual depth. A simple, solid black van would have looked flat and uninteresting on film. This two-tone effect is what gave the Vandura its premium, custom appearance and made it pop on screen. It's a critical detail that many replicas get wrong, and it proves that the van's legendary look was more sophisticated than just a quick black paint job. The plain black foundation. We just established that the top of the van was a sophisticated metallic gray, designed to catch the light and add visual depth. But that design choice was only half of the equation, and it worked so well because of what the production team did on the bottom half. Everything below that iconic red stripe was painted a simple, plain, non-metallic black. It was a solid, functional color with no special shimmer. This distinction is a key part of the van's visual identity, and it was a very deliberate choice. This two-tone finish served a clear purpose. The plain black lower section acted as a heavy visual anchor, grounding the vehicle and giving it a tougher, more rugged and aggressive appearance. This solid base provided the perfect contrast, which in turn made the shimmering metallic gray top and the vibrant red stripe pop even more dramatically. There was almost certainly a practical benefit to this as well. A non-metallic black finish is much better at hiding the daily abuse of filming, all the road grime, dirt, and minor scratches that a stunt vehicle inevitably collects. It's also far easier and cheaper to touch up between takes than a complex metallic paint. This paint job is the perfect summary of the van itself. A blend of high-impact Hollywood flash on the top and rugged, no-nonsense utility on the bottom. The vanishing GMC logo. The A-Team van was, without question, a 1983 GMC Vandura. General Motors was a key partner, supplying the fleet of vehicles needed for the show's demanding production. If you watch episodes from the first season, you can clearly see the bright red GMC logo right on the van's front grille. It was a standard, visible piece of branding. But then, early in the second season, that logo suddenly vanished. It was deliberately and permanently blacked out, and it stayed that way for the rest of the show's run. This wasn't an accident or a random design choice. It was an intentional decision by the production. This kind of visual censorship speaks volumes about the complex relationship between a TV studio and its automotive supplier. While the exact reasons aren't officially documented, it is widely believed that GMC became uncomfortable having its brand so prominently displayed on a vehicle used by fugitives. After all, the van was constantly involved in high-speed chases, illegal activities, and spectacular, destructive crashes every single week. The truly unusual part of this story, however, is what happened behind the scenes. Despite the logo being blacked out, the partnership didn't end. GMC continued to supply the production with new Vanduras for all 5 seasons, and they also received an official credit in the show's end titles. This created a very strange form of product placement, where the brand was officially recognized for its contribution, but had its primary visual identity completely hidden on the star vehicle. The van's heavyweight status. The Vandura always looked substantial, a tank-like vehicle perfectly suited for crashing through walls and absorbing impacts. but its exact mass is a detail that provides crucial context for every single stunt the A-Team ever pulled. This was not a lightweight prop or a modified passenger car. It was a genuine heavy-duty machine, built on a proper truck chassis. The van's official curb weight was a massive 5,049 pounds, or just over 2,290 kilograms. To put that in perspective, that is 2.5 tons of metal. This substantial weight is what made its signature action sequences so spectacular and believable. Every time the van launched into the air for one of its famous jumps, you're watching a 5,000-pound object defy gravity. This required immense power from the engine just to get it moving, and incredible structural integrity to keep it from disintegrating upon landing. This heavy mass also explains why the van absolutely needed that big 5.7-liter V8. A smaller, more efficient motor would have been completely overwhelmed, unable to provide the thrilling acceleration and speed required for those relentless chase scenes. Furthermore, the sheer inertia of a 2.5-ton vehicle is what made it look so unstoppable. When it crashed through an obstacle, you felt the weight behind it. It truly was a heavyweight champion of 1980s television, and it makes B.A, quote, "Says skill in throwing it around corners look even more impressive." The van's heavy-duty secret. In the world of GMC vans, the model number is everything, as it signifies the vehicle's intended purpose and payload capacity. Many fans might assume the A-Team van was a standard light-duty passenger model, like a 1500 series. But the production team made a very specific and strategic choice when they sourced their fleet. The van used for the show was, in fact, a 1983 GMC Vandura 2500. This designation is the critical detail. The 2500 signifies a 3/4-ton, heavy-duty chassis. This places it firmly in the work truck category, well above the lighter-duty models designed purely for passenger comfort. This choice was not accidental. It was foundational to the van's entire television career. The 2500 chassis was built with a sturdier frame, stronger suspension, and a higher gross vehicle weight rating. This extra robustness was absolutely necessary for a vehicle that had to endure the intense physical demands of filming. It had to survive high-speed chases, land massive jumps, and crash through obstacles on a weekly basis. A lighter 1500 series chassis would have buckled and failed under that kind of relentless abuse. This heavy-duty platform was the perfect base for an action hero, and when paired with the reliable 5.7-liter V8, it created the ideal balance. It was tough enough for the stunts, but simple enough for the production crew's mechanics to maintain. Borrowing from a truck. The van was clearly a GMC Vandura, but thanks to the way General Motors operated in the 1980s, it had a bit of an identity crisis. It was a classic example of corporate platform sharing. While it looked like a van on the outside, its mechanical DNA was mixed with another, even tougher member of the GM family. This created a sort of Frankenstein vehicle that was a perfect accidental on-purpose stunt machine. Specifically, the 1983 Vandura borrowed key components, including its steering column and its entire braking system, directly from the Chevrolet CK series of pickup trucks. The CK line was Chevy's full-size, heavy-duty workhorse, and its parts were famously rugged. By integrating these over-engineered truck components, GM created a much more durable and resilient machine right off the assembly line. This was especially critical for the brakes. A heavy-duty truck's braking system was designed to stop a vehicle carrying a massive payload, making it perfectly suited for slowing down the 5,000-pound Vandura during a high-speed chase. This part sharing was also a massive hidden advantage for the A-Team's production crew. The CK trucks were some of the most popular vehicles in America, meaning their parts were everywhere and incredibly cheap. When the stunt team inevitably destroyed the brakes or damaged the steering after a jump, the mechanics didn't have to hunt for specialized van components. They could just go to any local auto parts store and get common, off-the-shelf truck parts. This made the fleet of vans remarkably easy to maintain, despite the constant abuse. GMC credit remained intact. We already talked about how the production team deliberately blacked out the GMC logo on the van's grille starting in the second season. This move was likely to distance the brand from the team's weekly mayhem. But here's the truly bizarre part of that story. The partnership with General Motors didn't end there. In fact, it didn't even slow down. Even after the logo was hidden, GMC continued to honor its agreement and supplied the show with a steady stream of brand new Vanduras for the entire 5-season run. This was absolutely essential. as the stunt team was destroying vans at an alarming rate. But the most unusual part of this deal was the credit. If you watch the end credits of any episode, even long after the logo was blacked out, you will still see a formal acknowledgement given to the General Motors Corporation. This highlights a very strange and complex contractual arrangement. It's a rare form of product placement where the company actively supplies the hero vehicle but requests its main visual branding be hidden from view. It suggests GMC knew the show was a massive hit and wanted the association, but they preferred a formal, low-key thank you in the credits rather than having their logo front and center on a vehicle being used to commit fictional crimes and get blown up every Wednesday night. The power misconception. On screen, the A-Team's van felt like an unstoppable powerhouse. It accelerated with a roar and seemed capable of outrunning anything the military threw at it, creating a lasting impression of raw, high-performance speed. However, the official factory specifications for that 5.7-liter V8 provide a major reality check for anyone used to modern performance figures. The engine, straight from the 1983 GMC utility line, was rated at just 163 horsepower. That's an extremely modest figure for a vehicle weighing over 5,000 pounds, and a number that's lower than many of today's compact cars. So, how did it perform those signature high-action maneuvers? The van's secret weapon wasn't its horsepower, it was its torque. This engine was a true low-end lugger. It produced a very healthy 275 pound-feet of torque. But the most crucial statistic is when it delivered that power. Maximum torque was achieved at just 1,600 revolutions per minute. This is a classic heavy-duty truck engine characteristic. It means that the moment BA touched the throttle, he had all the vehicle's pulling power instantly available. This low-end grunt is what allowed the van to launch from a standstill, smoke its tires, and crash through walls. The on-screen speed was often clever editing, but the power was real. It was just the brute force, pulling power of torque, not the high-speed capability of horsepower. The stuntman who played villain. The true unsung heroes of the A-Team were the stunt drivers, the professionals who masterfully piloted the van through its weekly gauntlet of jumps, crashes, and high-speed chases. One of the primary stunt professionals responsible for the van's most incredible leaps was Henry Kingi. His job was to make the van look powerful and unstoppable. But Kingi's contribution to the show didn't stop when the stunt driving was done. He had a surprising dual role. He frequently stepped in front of the camera, not as a double, but as an actor. In a fascinating overlap of duties, Kingi was often cast as one of the very villains the A-Team was fighting. This meant the man responsible for choreographing and executing the van's spectacular escapes was, in many episodes, the same person, in character, who was trying to stop that escape. This blurring of the line between the stunt team and the cast is a classic piece of Hollywood trivia. It showcases how 1980s television productions were a tight-knit community that maximized their talent. It also meant Kingi could use his expert knowledge of stunt driving to play a more convincing and challenging antagonist, ensuring the chase scenes he was in were just as realistic and exciting as the ones he was driving for. He was, in essence, the A-Team's greatest ally behind the wheel and one of their recurring enemies on screen, the one-jump retirement plan. The A-Team van was famous for its signature over-the-top jumps. We saw it leap over obstacles, trenches, and open bridges almost every week. It would land with a heavy thud, shake it off, and BA would drive away, ready for the next part of the mission. This created the illusion that the Vandura was an indestructible fortress on wheels, but the mechanical reality behind those spectacular airborne moments tells a very different story. When a van was used for one of those signature jumps, it was almost always its final scene. The van that performed the stunt was effectively entering a mandatory one-way retirement, landing a 5,000-pound vehicle, even from a relatively low jump, places an immense and catastrophic level of stress on the entire structure. The impact would bend the frame, destroy the axles, and completely shatter the suspension components, rendering the vehicle mechanically useless and unsafe for any further driving. The van we saw land the jump was almost certainly ruined. This disposable hero approach is the precise reason the production had to maintain such a large fleet of vans. They were consuming their star vehicle at an alarming rate. It's a sobering truth that the van's most legendary and seemingly invincible moments were, in fact, its very last. The movie van's color blunder. When the A-Team van was resurrected for the 2010 big screen movie, the production team made several subtle changes. But one of the most significant, and for purists, most frustrating, was the paint. The movie version of the van was, quite simply, black. It was a solid, single-tone black paint job, which is how many people mistakenly remember the original. This was a major departure from the iconic 1980s vehicle. As we've already established, the original TV van had a much more sophisticated two-tone finish. It was only plain black below the red stripe. The entire upper portion of the van, including the roof and spoiler, was painted a dark metallic gray. This was a deliberate choice by the original production team. That metallic finish was designed to catch the light, giving the van a dynamic sheen and visual depth that kept it from looking like a flat black box on camera. By simplifying the paint scheme to solid black, the 2010 film lost all of that nuance. The movie van looked darker, flatter, and lacked the unique texture that defined its television predecessor. It's a small detail, but it's one of the key visual differences that separates the big screen replica from the true, complex original. The fifth team member. The A-Team officially consisted of 4 human members: Hannibal, Face, Murdoch, and B.A. Baracus. But the 1983 GMC Vandura was so central to the show's identity and so critical to every single mission that it earned a special, unofficial status. Its presence was constant and non-negotiable. The van wasn't just a vehicle they used, it was their mobile command center, their high-tech surveillance hub, their mobile armory, and their only reliable means of escape. B.A. quote. S obsessive protective attitude toward it also gave the van a distinct personality, making it feel less like an inanimate object and more like a cherished, protected part of the fugitive family. Because of this vital and recurring role, the van transcended its status as a simple prop. Over the years, fans, dedicated collectors, and custom builders have universally adopted an unofficial but perfectly accurate title for it: the fifth team member. This nickname is not just a cute phrase, it's a genuine acknowledgement of the van's function within the narrative. It reflects the understanding that without the Vandura, no plan could come together. It was just as essential to the team's success as Hannibal's leadership, Face's cons, or Iz's B.A. quote, see muscle. This title is the ultimate testament to the vehicle's enduring legacy, solidifying its place as a true, non-human character that was integral to the show's formula. A sci-fi racing cameo. Decades after its original television run ended, the A-Team van achieved a new and very modern form of cinematic immortality. It earned an unexpected cameo in the 2018 Steven Spielberg blockbuster, Ready Player One. That film is famous for being a massive, high-budget celebration of 1980s pop culture, so its inclusion was a major nod to its legacy. The van wasn't central to the plot, but it served as a fantastic Easter egg for sharp-eyed fans. During the film's chaotic, high-stakes virtual reality race, the GMC Vandura appears as one of the many competitors vying for the prize. It's a definite blink-and-you'll-miss-it tribute. As the main character, Parzival, enters the New York City racetrack, the iconic black and red van is right there in the mix, alongside other legendary fictional automobiles, like the car from Christine. In an even stranger crossover of franchises, it has been noted that in the film, the van is being piloted by a Halo Elite, a character from the popular video game series. This cameo solidifies the van's status as a top-tier pop culture icon. It proves that its design is so instantly recognizable that it can be dropped into a futuristic sci-fi world, racing against digital monsters and still be immediately understood by the audience. It's a true testament to the van's enduring place in the pantheon of Hollywood vehicles, bridging the gap from 1980s television to modern blockbusters. The 1983 GMC Vandura is so much more than just a simple black van with a red stripe. Its enduring legacy is a fascinating mix of Hollywood magic, clever production shortcuts, and genuine heavy-duty automotive grit. It's truly incredible to learn that for its most destructive frame-bending stunts, the crew secretly substituted in a rival Ford Econoline, relying on those iconic red hubcaps to sell the illusion. Or that the paint job itself wasn't solid black, but a sophisticated two-tone scheme of dark metallic gray on top and plain black on the bottom. From its humble 163 horsepower engine to its unofficial title as the fifth team member, the A-Team van has more than earned its place as one of the most complex and beloved vehicles in television history.